and I'm Little Boy.
And this is our weekly Netcast podcast for the some week of July.
July 23rd, 2012.
Yeah, so that's his job, in case you guys didn't know.
That's my one job, to know what the date is.
Yeah, because I get a little tired of doing that.
That's one of the things that we know you can't do.
That's one of the only things that I can't do. Anyway, well, like I said, welcome to the program. And, of course, every week I have to ask Little Boy, how was your week?
Week's been really nice. We've been working a lot with the Pound for Pound show. We talk about that. That's going on ESPN. And I had a lot of success. We've been trying to sell some airtime for some commercials on ESPN radio. And, wow, a lot of success yesterday, actually. Yeah. We actually filled up the whole first show, already with commercials, which has been outstanding. Of course, if anybody is looking, we have some future time. If anybody's looking to run a 30-second ad on ESPN radio Saturday morning, you can always, you can tweet me at LBHost, and I'll get back to you. But we've had a lot of success with that.
And tomorrow we have a meeting with them, and I tell you what, I'm going to talk to them about the Phatman and Littleboy Show, because if we can fill up an hour that quickly, we can fill up another hour that quickly.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Also, PMLB Media, which is our company, PMLB Media, we're pulling on a new show. We're pulling on the Dr. Larry Davenport Show. He was in President Bush Sr., 41 and 43's cabinet. He was for Department of Education. He was also in, Department of Education. Well, he told me a few other things, too, to be honest with you. I wish I knew a little more about it. But this week we're having the chairman of the Republican Committee, or previous chairman of the Republican Committee for the state of Texas on, and extremely intelligent gentleman. We're starting a new show, so it's the Dr. Larry Davenport Show. Now, he will not be streaming the show. He wants to have an actual setup show, and actually, for the first time, it's going to be 100% YouTube only, which is very interesting, but that's the way they want to run it. That's fine with me. We don't care. And he agrees with everything that I agree with. Love the show. But what's really funny about that is that Little Boy is the director of the program, and he has to sit there and listen to it.
Yeah, that's okay. I have to listen to you all the time anyway. So
yeah, but you like listening to me.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, let's get going to our first subject. Go ahead, Little Boy.
Well, the Boy Scout ban on gays is to continue. They announced that they're going to keep gays out of the Boy Scouts.
They did a reaffirmation. It's funny. Little Boy, I kind of have an idea of what you think on this, but I think that what I believe is going to absolutely blow you away.
All right. Well, why don't you tell? Do you want to go first?
No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I could take all the wind from your sails, but I'd rather see you sit there and get all puffy and all excited, and then for me just to take the pin and go, boop, So go ahead. What do you got?
Well, basically, the way I look at it is the Boy Scouts are, I guess, a private club, we'll call it.
Organization.
And if you as a private organization are going to keep people out, I guess that you can do it. I mean, that makes me not want to have anything to do with the Boy Scouts. I don't spend any money. I don't buy things from the Boy Scouts because they do not include everybody. And they don't include everybody based on their whatever reasons why. For whatever their reasons are why. However, they do get help from the federal government, and I don't agree with that. I think
where are they getting their help from the federal government? Because I believe they're getting it from UNICEF, correct?
Well, they actually there's a few different things. The U.S. Code authorizes them, the Secretary of Defense, to lend supplies and equipment and transportation for Boy Scout events, which we absolutely should not be doing. All branches of the military issue a promotion for Eagle Scouts. Should not be doing that. Let's see here. In early 2005, Congress passed a resolution expressing the sense of the Congress that the Department of Defense should support Boy Scout of America activities through the use of military personnel, federal land use, and assistance for their massive jamborees. 2005 jamboree cost taxpayers approximately $8 million. Now, why should any of our tax money be going to a group that doesn't allow all Americans into it?
Well, the thing is, and here's where I'm going to be on this. Now it's my turn to talk about the issues, because you did hijack last week, so I want to make sure that I at least get some in there today. This is the Phatman and Littleboy Show.
We needed some intelligence last week.
Yeah, right. Okay. They are a group that was basically a religious-founded group. You know,
right?
It's not as much as it was today, except that their major
backed
support
big time by the Catholic Church
and the Mormon
and
Church.
the Mormon Church.
Yeah. If I think excluding gays is a mistake on their part, because we both know a scout leader who is homosexual, and he keeps it quiet and doesn't let anybody know. But at the same time, and he would be, if they lost him, that would be a problem. But at the same time, he knew going in that this is the way they were. So,
right.
And now he's trying to get it to change from behind. But here's my problem with it is, I've never had a problem with a person who's gay if they're gay. You know, that is that's who they are. As long as it doesn't affect me, like they're not trying to push anything on me. I don't push anything on them. They want tolerance, and they're getting the tolerance from me for that.
From you?
From me from that.
Okay.
Now, here's the question. The Boy Scouts want to be their own, just like the gay and lesbian community wants to be on its own and not have anybody, tell them what they can do, what they can't do.
I think they don't want to be told what they can't do.
Right, but here's the thing. They want tolerance on one side, but they're not allowing the Boy Scouts to have tolerance on their side. They're not saying
have tolerance, but they shouldn't get any federal funding.
Well,
they should not get any federal money.
The federal money. The problem you have with federal money is how much does GLAAD get from the government, and they get quite a bit. And how much does
I didn't.
And how many times when you have a gay and lesbian parade does the city have to pay for all of the traffic and for all of the expenses involved in that? So you can't really turn around and say, well, this is why. You can't really say, no funding at all here, but yet if we want to have our parade, we could have a parade.
But the parade's a little bit different because
the thing is,
you have
still
St. Patrick's parade and all of that type of stuff.
So it's still money going in, right? It's still money going in.
Yeah, I don't know if they're paying permits and all that because I didn't research any of that stuff. I don't know if you did or not. I didn't research any of that.
What I'm saying is the government has its ends in a lot of different organizations. And here's what I take right off the top. I'm going to say Curves. Okay, Curves Fitness. Mm-hmm. You go to Curves and try to get a membership.
Right. Do they get any federal money?
I'm not done.
Okay.
You go to Curves and try to get a membership.
Right.
You cannot.
Correct.
But I have zero problem with that. And you know why I don't have an issue with that? Is because it's women who want to go. They don't want men there. And they don't want anybody looking over them. But Curves started with federal grant money and small business SBA loans. So you can't turn around and say, and I'm using Curves as just because of what it is, but you can't turn around and say, we want to have our club, but we also want that club to be able to do other things. You know what I mean? So for the gay and lesbian community, listen, I completely understand. They are making a mistake by not letting these people in there. But at the same time, or letting, people in there. But at the same time, there is money that they get. There is subsidies they get. There is things that they do receive. And they just have to have tolerance both ways.
Well, let's make it across the board then. If you are limiting membership to your group based on gender, sexual orientation, religion, you should not only not get any federal money at all, in my opinion, but you should lose all tax-exempt status. You shouldn't be able to get that because you being tax-exempt, you are getting money from the government, basically.
Well, but then you're going to get into churches.
Well, then let's get into churches.
Well, but see, that's you. That's because of the way you feel about it.
I just said that's the way I feel. If you are limiting membership to your group based on any of those things, then you shouldn't get tax-exempt status. You shouldn't get money from the government.
But then you're taking freedoms. You're taking freedoms from somebody they are taking freedoms from allowing somebody to be able to join them. It's the same exact freedoms across the board. You would have that would be impossible. What would you do with the NAACP?
Well, maybe all these things need to slowly be adjusted. But I'll tell you,
But it would take.
Right now, it's not going to change.
No.
So I choose to vote with my wallet. We've used that term before.
And that's exactly fine.
I don't give any.
All right, we're going to take a little quick commercial. We'll be back with you in a moment.
So I've been living in Southern California my entire life, and I've been an MMA fan for a very long time. And if it's one thing that I can't stand, it's the lack of coverage for this amazing sport. I mean, really, if you're a fan of this sport, the only place you could find anything whatsoever is on FM. And I'm talking for 5, maybe 10 minutes, and you don't learn anything.
Not only that, it's your biggest stars, too. UFC champions. We hear them locally here on rock stations for 5 minutes. getting interviewed by rock DJs. So finally, we're bringing our show, Pound for Pound Sports, MMA dominant radio show, to the air. ESPN Radio 1700. Very excited about the move, starting August 4th, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 10.
And I can't wait. I mean, what a fantastic opportunity we finally have. We're in on the ground floor of something truly great, and I couldn't be more excited about the opportunity. So make sure you tune in Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10. We got the whole hour, ESPN Radio, 1700, San Diego.
August 4th, the takeover.
All right, welcome back to the Phatman and Littleboy Show. I'm Little Boy.
I'm Phatman.
And we've been discussing the Boy Scouts of America, and, we've been kind of fighting back and forth a little bit, and we had started to get into tax-exempt status and that type of thing. What I was trying to say at the end when we had to go to break was I vote with my wallet. Yeah. I personally, because I told you the way I want it to be, that doesn't necessarily the way it's going to be. So until then, I can choose to not support the Boy Scouts of America.
That's all you have to do.
Just like that whole Chick-fil-A, they came out, that's fine. I've never been there anyways, but if that's the way they want to be, if they want to limit, now I don't think that Chick-fil-A actually says that they don't hire gay or lesbians. Do they say that? Because I don't think they're allowed to do that.
You cannot do that.
Right.
That's a whole different story. That's a whole different law, a whole different code.
Them making the statement now, because
they're a business.
Yeah,
you have to be equal opportunity.
Right.
You have to be. You have no choice.
But for them to come out and even say that, and I know that they're basically owned by the Mormon Church, or which I didn't have a problem with that. If they're going to come out though and say all this stuff, then I will choose to not spend my money at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, and that's all you have to do is basically just go by your wallet. Now, we do need to go on to the next subject, but the reason why I wanted to talk about that was I think that you weren't expecting exactly what I was thinking, but if they're a private, this has been to the Supreme Court. It's already been there. They're okay to do what they do, and if they want to reaffirm it, they reaffirm it. But I do believe they are going to lose out on, some really, just good people. They're going to lose out some good people.
Well, yeah, whether you can add value or not, it shouldn't have anything to your to do with your sexual orientation. There's plenty of people out there that could add and contribute to the Boy Scouts of America, and they are limiting their contributors when they do that.
All right, let's go to the next subject, little boy.
All right.
We're going to talk about commercial kitchens in California.
Yes. Now, this is something that we saw, and it affected us. It was something that could have affected us.
It did. A lot of people don't know that we used to be part of Three Monks products.
Yes.
And what it was we were making salad dressings, and I'm as I've talked to you before, we live on a farm. We've had a lot of organic produce and hydroponic produce, and we would sell our Caesar salad made with romaine lettuce.
Yes.
And other kinds of lettuce.
It's funny, the way it all worked is we were trying to come up with a way to move. You were known as the lettuce guy.
Yeah, I was.
You just grew lettuce, and everybody liked the way you had a special formula, the way you grew it, and you had a sweetener and all that type of stuff that you did, and everybody liked it. And we were trying to find a new way to just move it. So we came up with a few recipes. We developed them, mostly Mrs. Phatman, but actually all three of us did contribute to that. And we came up with 5 or 6 different salad dressings.
They were great.
And they were really good, and people loved them. And we were selling them down at the farmer's market, and it was great. And we all thought we were doing the right thing. We took the food handler class.
Went to school.
And, yeah. Remember when you almost split your car in half when we driving over the speed bumps? And and all of a sudden, the brakes got thrown on because we were told we can't sell anymore unless we are producing this in a commercial kitchen.
Yep. It was a way of the government basically telling us that you have to adhere to all of these laws that we were already adhering to, plus you had to have a inspected commercial kitchen. We had no problem with them coming in and inspecting our kitchen.
Exactly.
But we couldn't fit the standards that they needed.
You had to have a floor sink. You had to have a triple sink. There was all sorts of things that you'd have had to completely remodel your kitchen to do. And
I mean, the local Mexican restaurant down the street here, I don't look into the kitchen. And as everybody knows, I eat quite a bit because I'm scared to death to look into that kitchen, knowing what's running around. And they could have come to my house and ate off the floor.
Yeah.
But that wasn't okay.
They and now the whole idea is they're actually changing the law. They're saying that you can make homemade food from your own kitchen, and the people who own restaurants are throwing a fit. They're saying,
of course, Well, here's the reason why. The law is that you have to have certain inspections. Basically, you have to be open for a USDA inspection and a county inspection, that they'll come check for cleanliness, and they'll check to make sure that your stuff isn't spoiled in the refrigerator and everything is marked correctly. That is all good stuff. That is all perfect. The problem is the way the law read was that you couldn't do this at home because you couldn't have the equipment you needed to meet the law. Now, making the stuff at home, this new bill that they're trying to pass, still keeps the restrictions in there as far as you have to have, dates on foods, and you have to have cleaning, but you don't have to have what you cannot have in your house, the triple sinks.
They also, though, the new law says that they do not inspect your kitchen, your home kitchen.
Oh, they don't?
Which the restaurants, and I actually agree with the restaurants on this.
I can see that. That's a problem.
I think that, they shouldn't make you have to have an industrial kitchen, but I think that if you are going to prepare the food in your home, then you need to open your home up for inspection. And I think that they should be able to come inspect your home, because they do need to make sure that there's not cats on the counter and all sorts of that stuff. So I, as nice as it was to see this, because this is, even though our time has passed on this
we're
particular
done with this
venture,
now.
It helps the little guy. There's a lot of little guys that really have stuff to offer, and especially the farmers markets. But I think that they need to pull it back a little bit. I think that they do need to open up their kitchens for inspection. If you're going to be preparing salsa in your kitchen, they need to be able to come by and make sure that you have a clean kitchen and you have a sterile environment and all of those things. And I don't have a problem with that. This bill does not make them do that, and I think that they should. I want to know that my food's going to be clean that I'm eating.
I know what I eat at some of these restaurants is quite scary. So to be honest with you, I have lived through it. So if there's cats in the kitchen, there's cats in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of small – it's very, very hard to make money in this economy. It's very hard. And if you could find a little market like we have here, it just helps. It does help. And I'm hoping that producer Jen clicks over here soon, because she was involved in this.
I am here.
Oh, she's here.
Yes.
Jen, what do you think about this?
I totally agree with being able to make it at home. And the problem I see is if they can't come in and inspect, then you're doing something wrong.
Well, and that's exactly it. I mean, you can have it open for inspection, but then remember what we had to do was they were told to go to commercial kitchens. So we said, all right, well, how hard can that be? So we went and priced commercial kitchens. Forget it. It was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because they knew they had you. Right. And they said, well, if you don't do us, you can't do anything else.
The laws were set up to squash the little guy. In order to start out a business small, you had to have lots of investment money.
Right.
And it just gave the advantage to the big guys who are already established. And, you think of like Kraft. We used to compare, to Kraft.
We always said that.
We're not Kraft.
We were way better than Kraft.
We were better than Kraft.
Taste-wise, we were way better than Kraft. But the comparison was with Kraft, because we said if Kraft wants to develop a new salad dressing, they just do it because they have the budget to do that.
Sure.
We didn't have the budget. But I have to believe that if you go back years and years and years ago when Kraft started, they did not have to follow the same laws that are there for everybody else.
No,
the laws
not
were different
at all.
back then. So they wanted
you
both
think
ways.
had powers in that laws to make sure that we couldn't do it?
And now people like, I keep using Kraft, big
we'll
companies
get a letter.
Are squashing, they're setting up the laws, and that's what's wrong.
The other thing I want to add is that those small companies out there that we saw, Mama's Homemade, whatever, we found out they were not following the law.
No, of course not.
And that's how they got around it, and that's how they were profitable.
Now, we don't know, just as a disclaimer, for sure, that Kraft is involved in those laws.
Of course
because,
not.
to be honest with you, that is something we will definitely get called on.
Yeah.
But the question is...
You got to assume that...
there's an assumption out there. And you know how I feel about laws anyway, right? So, all right, we're going to take another little quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have our final segment, and
we're going to be talking about tax breaks for the taxes for online shopping and see what's going to be happening with those.
Yep. So stay tuned, and we'll see you real soon.
Take care.
And we're out. Good show, guys.
Thanks, producer Jen. Good job there, little boy.
Thank you, Phatman. You listen to talk radio in San Diego?
Of course I do. Where do you think I get my knowledge?
You call it knowledge, I call it right-wing propaganda.
What do you do now that there's no Air America, and thank goodness for that?
Well, unfortunately, when Air America went away, I had to find something else, so I started listening to sports talk radio.
Sports talk radio in San Diego is all the same. It's the same old, same old.
You're right. That's about to change.
How?
August 4th, PFP Sports is bringing their show to ESPN Radio AM 1700.
Really? August 4th. Is that a Saturday?
Saturday, August 4th, 9 o'clock in the morning. They're going to have their show every Saturday, and we will finally have a show that talks combat sports in San Diego.
Well, that I will definitely not miss.
Yeah, me neither.
Wow, you guys agree on something? It must be good.
So I've been living in Southern California my entire life, and I've been an MMA fan for a very long time. And if it's one thing that I can't stand, it's the lack of coverage for this amazing sport. I mean, really, if you're a fan of this sport, the only place you could find anything whatsoever is on FM, and I'm talking for 5, maybe 10 minutes, and you don't learn anything.
Not only that, it's your biggest stars, too. UFC champions. We hear them locally here on rock stations for 5 minutes. Getting interviewed by rock DJs. So finally, we're bringing our show, Pound for Pound Sports, MMA dominant radio show, to the air. ESPN Radio 1700. Very excited about the move, starting August 4th, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 10.
And I can't wait. I mean, what a fantastic opportunity we finally have. We're in on the ground floor of something truly great, and I couldn't be more excited about the opportunity. So make sure you tune in Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10. We got the whole hour, ESPN Radio 1700, San Diego.
August 4th, the takeover.
And we're back. Thanks for hanging in there. These new commercial breaks are going to take a little bit of time to get used to. So
yeah, we're trying to figure it out still.
Let's go on our next subject.
Real quick, I just want to let you know, I got a direct tweet. They asked if we were going to be talking about the whole issue in Colorado, and we had talked about it. We're just not going to do it. It's been talked to death, and of course our hearts go out to the families.
Oh yeah,
it is actually political. If we can get into gun control, we can talk about that later. But you know, we just decided that it wasn't something that we want to talk about. Our hearts, of course, go out to all the families and
terrible.
And we are thinking about them, and we, of course, have been watching, but we just figured we weren't going to get into it on our show. But thanks to But thanks for the direct tweet, anyways, there, DB.
Oh, it was DB. Oh, hello, DB. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go on to our next subject, which is taxes online. Go ahead and.
Right. Well, one of the advantages right now is you can purchase things online, and as long as it comes from a different state, you don't have to pay sales tax, and it gives online retailers an advantage over, we call them brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to buy a blanket for your bed, you can buy it online, and you can avoid paying taxes. Whereas you go down to Walmart or whatever and buy it, you got to pay sales tax.
Yeah.
And they're trying to end that. Yes.
Let me tell you, it's Congress, but it's both sides of the aisle trying to do this.
They are both trying to end this. It's supposed to bring a ton of revenue to the states. You know, I'm not so sure that I'm for this. Which
I know I'm not for it.
I know you're not, and I'm going to tell you why. Although I am usually something like this, you know, when I don't like it when people are able to get around paying taxes, and they say it gives an unfair advantage, but you know it really doesn't. I'm going to tell you why. When you go down to a shoe store, you're getting, you know, you go down to the shoe store, you're going to pay tax, but you're also have the convenience
and the service
the service and stuff, and that's part of it. The online, you're going to save your tax, but you're not going to get that day.
No.
You know, you have to wait for it, and you're going to pay freight. And if they, you know, there's places that have free shipping. Is shipping ever free?
Never.
No, it's not.
They find their money.
Of course,
even Amazon finds its money. And,
exactly.
As a matter of fact, I had the banner behind us about Amazon and eBay.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. Well, go ahead.
No,
I'll let you finish.
So I'm not sure that I'm for this. I mean, I guess the states need money. I get that, but I think that we need to. People need a little bit of a break sometimes. You know, give somebody that advantage.
I purchase 80% of it, what I have online. I do. I'm a huge online shopper. Our studio is an online studio. The camera you're watching this through, one of the 4 that are there, is an online camera. Well, actually, all of them are. Now I take that back.
There are things that we have bought in here because we just needed them, and you ran down and you bought them and you paid tax.
And you paid the tax. I don't like government deciding to change the rules. And the reason why is online got big, right? But before online, you used to be able to mail order. How many times did you? I used to mail order as a kid stuff out of the back of catalogs. Mail
order was a lot more work. Online purchasing, they've made it so easy.
The government found another way into our pockets. That's all I say. That's all I see it is. And you know what? To be honest with you, the one big proponent of this is Governor Chris Christie,
yes.
who's also behind us, and that makes me upset because he's not what I thought. You know?
Oh, come on. Not everybody's going to agree with you 100%.
I want all agreement.
Nah.
All agreement. Well, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we actually are done. Our show's at 23 minutes. Our producer's telling us in our ear we're off. So
we're wrapping.
Little boy, it's been a great show.
Yeah, it's been fast. We're getting used to this faster pace.
It's very fast, fast. And you can get me at Phatman at phatmanandlittleboy.com, or you can get me on Twitter at PhatmanShow. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Producer Phatman.
Have you changed it down at the bottom yet, by the way? You probably haven't.
It's at
Phatman.
Yeah,
Show, so it needs to be fixed.
That has to be changed.
You can email me. I'm at littleboy I'm littleboy at phatmanandlittleboy.com, or you can direct tweet me at lbhost. And if you tweet me during the show, I will try and answer your tweets.
If you tweeted me during the show, I'm sorry, I still cannot figure it out.
We'll get it together.
Well, Little Boy's been a great show.
I think it has been a great show.
Yeah, it was a quick show. We didn't get to fight each other. I didn't get to pick up my statue and threaten you to death.
Don't buy anything from the Boy Scouts. That's what I say.
You know what? Boy Scouts are fine. If you want to do it, you do it. And
Chick-fil-A either. Don't spend your money.
I can't eat at Chick-fil-A, so.
Okay.
And we'll see you real soon.
Take care.